Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are going to solve the exam that we take before. Firstly, the first questions. The number of molecules which are found in a living gram of the carbon dioxide gas equal to the number of molecules which are found in the many grams of the ammonia. How many grams of the ammonia? Firstly, we must set that the reaction taking place between the ammonia and carbon dioxide gas CO2 in a gas state, and we add the water to forming ammonium carbonate NH4 to CO3. From balancing of the equation, we will find the 2Na and the 2N and 2N. 2 multiply 3, 6 plus 2, 8. 2 multiply 4, 8. 1 carbon and 1 carbon, 3 oxygen, 2 oxygen, 1 oxygen equals 3. So, according to the equation, we will find the NH3 in the front of the CO2. According to the number of moles, we have 2 moles in the front of 1 mole. So, according to this equation, 2 multiply N, 14 plus 3 multiply 1, 12 plus 2 multiply 16. If we take in an 11 gram from the carbon dioxide gas, cross multiplication, we will find the answer. It will be 8.5. It is the first one. Second one, we are going to talk about the limiting reactant. For the limiting reactant is a substance completely consumed during the chemical reaction. So, firstly, we'll find 2x in the front of L and 3y in the front of L. We're taking the same product. Maybe one choose another 2x in the front of the 2m and the 3y in the front of the 2m. No problem. But making the product same. According to the equation, we have 2 moles in the front of 1 mole. If we're using the 3 mole from X, what is the number of produced mole from the L? It will be 1.5 mole. In other case, 3 moles from L in the front of 1. But if we're taking the 4 mole from Y, it's giving to us 1.3 moles. So the lowest ratio of moles of product we'll find from Y. So we can consider the Y is limiting. Y is limiting. It is the first step. So in the choices, X is limiting, neglected. Y is limiting, Y is limiting. 1 from C or D is the correct answer. Return back to the other concept. Well, okay. It is a limiting reactant because 4.5 mole is required. يعني احنا دلوقتي هنشتغل على ايه؟ على الواي. نشوفها. هنحط الواي in front of X. Y in front of X. According to the equation, 3y, 2x, 3 in the front of 2. But if we're using the 3 of X, 3 from X, what is the number from Y? It will be 4.5 moles. So it will be limiting and it's used 4.5 mole. The third one we'll find in the following chemical equation which represent the burning of acetylene. Firstly, the acetylene. Acetylene, it means that C2H2. Okay? The number of oxygen moles. So firstly, oxygen, and we needed moles in the front of. Required to burn 104 gram of acetylene. Acetylene, C2H2 moles, well, gram, according to needs. So from the equation, it will be 2 and 5. If we're taking the 5 moles from oxygen, it will be 2 multiply the molar mass of acetylene. 2 multiply 12 plus 2 multiply 1. If we're taking 104 from acetylene, the produced it will be, the answer it will be 10 moles from 10 moles from the oxygen gas. According to this, firstly we read number of oxygen moles, so we choose the oxygen by moles, and 104 gram from acetylene, so we deal with it with the gram. Right. Return to another question. Bismillah. When 71 gram of the sodium sulfate, it's simple, Na2SO4. It is a solid substance. Dissolve in the water. When we add the water to it, it will be in an aqueous solution, change in 2 ions, so it will be 2 Na positive, aqueous, and SO4 negative 2 in the aqueous. In this case, 71 gram of the sodium sulfate, Na2SO4 grams. In the front of what is the number of ions, we not determine the sodium or sulfate, so we're taking the total number of ions, 2 moles from sodium and 1 mole from sulfate, so it's 3 moles of ions. So we'll deal with the Avogadro's number. According to the equation, the balancing of equation, moles, sodium change in 2 grams, 2 multiply Na 23 plus sulfur 32 plus 4 multiply 16, and 3 moles of ions multiply the Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 power 23. If we return back 71 gram of the sodium sulfate, cross multiplication, we will find the answer. Okay? Another question. In the following chemical reactions, magnesium nitrate react with the water to forming magnesium hydroxide and ammonium gas is produced. Okay. We collect the ammonia gas, 75%, the percent yield. When the 80 grams, so firstly we have an ammonia in H3. According to the balance of equation, it will be 2. In the front of 80 gram of magnesium nitrate, Mg3 and 2. According we deal with the percentage yield, so they calculated H1 in the grams, so mole 2 n 14 plus 3 multiply 1 equal magnesium nitrate 3 multiply the mass number 24 plus 2 multiply 14. If we're taking the 80 gram from magnesium nitrate, 80 gram, so we will obtain theoretical yield. Percentage yield of ammonia, since he said collected the ammonia, it will be practical or the actual divided theoretical multiply 100. In this case, 75%. The actual we need it, theoretical it will produce from this equation multiplied 100. So the actual equal 75 times theoretical divided 100, it giving to us the answer. Another question. Question 6, 7, and 8 are related to each other in the following unbalanced chemical equation. Balancing the following equation using the smallest simplest integer, the number of the oxygen moles. According to the equations, firstly we have a 2 oxygen in the product, and also we have a 3 for the reactant, so we can collect them in the 3O2 and the 2ClO3, 2KClO3, potassium chlorate. It will produce to us 2 mole from potassium chloride return to balance the equation again. 2K and 2K, 2Cl and 2Cl. 2 multiply 3, 6 oxygen atom. 3 multiply 2, it will be 6 oxygen atom. So smallest ratio to balancing the oxygen, it will be 6. Okay. This reaction, the second question said, the previous equation is the type of the chemical reaction is. For this, we will find the composition reaction taking place. So the answer, it will be the composition reaction. In the reaction 6, according to the knowledge about the properties of produced gas, this reaction can be used in manufacture of. It will produce the oxygen gas. Oxygen gas help in burning. So filling fuel cylinder, fill the fire extinguisher, or unextinguished birthday candle, or fizzy water. So we'll choose unextinguished birthday candle. It will re-burn again after we extinguish it. In the correctly written chemical equation, all the following are true except firstly, the number of the atom reactant equal the number of the atom of the product according to the law of mass actions. Number 2, the coefficient indicate the proportional of the reactant and the product are same. Coefficient like this, the balancing of equation 2 for KCl. After we before balance this equation 2 KCl and 2 KCl and 3. This is called the coefficients, the balancing for the equation. Type. Choice number 3 said that C, the subscripts represent the properties of the reactant and the product. What is a subscript? Subscript, it means the 3 for the oxygen or the 2 for the oxygen. It's not the balancing. It's not represent the balancing for the equation. So the answer, it will be C. The mass of reactant equal the mass of the product according to the law of mass action. So the choices, it will be C. In the following chemical equation, it is that the composition reactions by water or hydrogen peroxide by the effect of the catalyst manganese dioxide giving to us oxygen and the water gas. It's considered the synthesis reactions can be used to produce the water. It's considered the composition reactions. Where is the hydrogen peroxide decomposed into smaller molecules? Yes, so it will be the answer. Leading another choices, the single substitution, where is the oxygen atom substituted the hydrogen? It's not correct. The double substitution reaction, it is not correct else. So it will be the composition reaction since the hydrogen peroxide is changed into oxygen and water by the effect of the catalyst manganese dioxide. Return to this problem, we'll find this equation. Potassium carbonate react with the nitric acid. In this case, what is the product? Firstly, it must give to us 2KNO3 positive and negative, and plus H2CO3. H2CO3, it is the weak acid decomposed into water and carbon dioxide gas. So the product, it will be 2KNO3 plus H2O plus CO2. So the correct answer, it will be the first one, choices A. For this question, the reaction can be considered as, so I'll find this pole attached with this pole, and this pole attached with this pole, this atom attached with this atom, and this atom attached with this atom. So it will be double substitution. It's easy questions. Return back to the other questions. For the learning outcomes 13, in which in the following compound the molecule not forming the hydrogen bond in each other. مين هنا ما يقدرش يكون hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is formed when we find the nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. In this case, we'll find the oxygen. We'll find the nitrogen, but in this case we'll find the carbon. So the compound that can't form the hydrogen bond, since it have a lower electronegativity, it will be the choice B. These questions, in the chemical bond which may be found between the molecule in dichloromethane molecular formula CCl2H2 and the structure formula, it will see surrounded by 2 atoms for the hydrogen and 2 atoms for the chlorine. In this case, we will find the carbon and the hydrogen, it have the smaller value for the electron negativity difference, but between the chlorine and the carbon, it will have the gapping for the electron negativity difference. So it will find for chlorine, the value for electronegativity equals 3, and the carbon 2.5, for the hydrogen 2.1. In this case, for this bond, carbon and the hydrogen, the difference, it will be 0.4, non-polar bond. But in this case, we'll find the difference, 3 minus 2.5, it will be greater than 0.4, 0.5. So in this case, we will find the bond is that found in the London dipole force and the London dispersion force. London dispersion force between the non-polar atoms and dipole since we have a difference electronegativity greater than 0.4. Which one of the following compounds should have the highest surface tension? Surface tension is related to, at the room temperature, is related to the mass number. So in each compound, we calculate the mass number. The highest in the mass number, it will be the highest in the surface tension and in viscosity else. So for this carbon, for this molecule, 1 carbon 2, 3 multiply 12, plus hydrogen 5, 2 and 7, 8 multiply 1, plus 1 oxygen atom, it will 16. And we calculate for the other. The substance that have largest atomic mass have largest surface tension and else have the high viscosity. Surface tension is the ability of the substance or the liquid to be penetrated, so it's called the surface tension. So we calculate the molar mass for each compound. The highest in the molar mass, it will be the highest in the surface tension. As a question, the arrangement of the following molecule according to their boiling point. The boiling point we will find it according to the functional group. The highest functional group in forming the hydrogen bond and the boiling point will be alcohol. So we'll find the alcohol. So it will be the highest one. Then ether. Then it will be the normal alkane. So the choices it will be A. Return back to the another question. For Fisher series, if we represent AX3E and AX2E2, if we represent it according to the Fisher series, for this AX3A, it will be like this. Central atom A surrounded by 3X, and we have only one lone pair of electrons. But for this, it will be central atom A surrounded by 2X, and we have a 2 lone pair of electrons. In the case of the number of lone pair of electrons is increased, it making the angle, it will be smaller. So lone pair from this side and lone pair from this side, it will make this angle smaller. So AX3E2 has a smaller angle, yes, it's correct, and has a lone pair of electron, it's not correct. AX2 has a wider angle, no. AX3 has wider angle, it's correct. Where does it have a lone pair of electron? Yes, correct. So it will be the choices. Correct choice, it will be B. Another question. Nitrogen gas become a liquid in low temperature primarily because of London dispersion force. The bond that found between the molecule of the gases, it will be London dispersion force. It's a very weak bond. Which one of the following molecule is a non-polar compound? In this case, we will choose the carbon dioxide gas. Why? For the carbon, it is carbon and oxygen polar bond, and carbon and oxygen is polar bond. But the linear shape, the angle in this case 180, each polar bond neglected the effect of the other, making this compound is a non-polar compound. The other question. Which one of the following reactions, ماشي? For aluminum, firstly we look for aluminum and the oxygen. Aluminum, Al, out from the reaction, Al positive 3. it's oxidized, our oxidation process, and we can call this substance as reducing agent. But for the oxygen, O2, it will change into O negative 2. From 0 to negative 2, it's reduced, and it's called the oxidizing agent. Return to the choices. Aluminum is oxidizing agent, it's not correct. Oxygen is oxidizing agent, it's true, since it's gain electrons. In this case, oxidizing agent reduced mean that gain electrons. So it's really correct. The correct answer it will be P. Another question. Which one of the following reaction doesn't represent oxidation reaction? Oxidation reaction, it means oxidation, it means lose electrons. So in this case, Fe positive 2, in this case, or Fe0. For each equation, Fe0, it will be Fe positive 3. According to the iron trichloride, FeCl, tria, and mono exchange valences, so it will be FeCl3. So in this case, the valence of the iron, it will be positive 3. In this case, this substance gaining electron, it means reduction process, not oxidation process. In this case, it's oxidation, and else in this case, Cl2, it will change into gaining electron, else it change into Cl negative, and I losing electrons, it will be reduced, or it's oxidized, since it's lose electron, oxidation. For this case, Fe change into Fe positive 3. In this case, we will find the oxidation and reduction, but in this case, it represents only the reduction process, so it will be the correct choice. Correct choice will be P. Which one of the following reaction does sulfuric acid act as oxidizing agent? Oxidizing agent, it means that reduction process taking place for it. According to this, we will find the sulfuric acid not change, since in each case we will find the charge are same, -2 in each case. So we'll choose the another element, as it's called the oxidizing agent, means that it causes oxidation for the another element. Who is the element that oxidized? In this case, copper 0. After the reaction, it will be CuSO4. X equal 0. So X plus SO4 all -2 equals 0. Okay, since it is a sulfate, -2. Okay, X equal positive 2. So in this case, oxidation process take place for the copper, so sulfuric acid in this case work as oxidizing agent. It causes the oxidation for another element, so the choice it will be A. Another question? If we heat for this reaction, A, P, C, and D are the 4 metal. If we heat the metal C plus salt D, it giving to us C plus D. Metal A, salt C, no reactions. So we will find A is more active than C. If we heat metal A with salt B, it will replace B, so A is more active also. If we heated B and C, we will find the C replace the D. Okay, A and the salt D, no reaction, so the D it's more active in this case. So the correct arrangement for it will be B less active than A, and A less active than C, yes, and C less active than the D. So the choice it will be the B. The answer it will be B. With patience, inshallah, and see you soon. Inshallah, with another exam. See you soon.